Well, I was supposed to say hey everyone, but yeah, hey Paul works as well. I would leave a message on the group just to see if we get any
Okay.
further information about others that will be joining. But so far, I don't think we have anyone else that's mentioned their presence or absence in the meeting. So we'll move regardless. Okay, so I think a good place to start would be a recap of the previous minutes that Leah during shared from the last meeting, and basically, I think there's a people in the meeting. Okay, it's just note takers. Okay, so people will be the minutes and the key action points from the last one were implementing the follow up to volunteers. I think in the end we didn't actually decide on the actual days. Like I said, I'll be when I think I said I'll do one of the days and then you do the other day. So, um, but I think we didn't finally decide. But then I got to do the check-ins to an extent this week, so I think that covered for this week. But I think just to make it official as to what it will be, I could do Wednesday and you could do Friday or the other way, whichever one you think works better. What do you think?
Wednesday or Friday. Any day works. That's actually fine.
Yeah, so my thought process was just like days of like middle of the week, right? Um Middle of the week, end of the week to see progress, and then of course we get back by Monday. So it's like 2 days in between each time, and just kind of keeps people on their toes, basically. No.
Okay, that's fine. That's
All right.
a good strategy.
All right. Great. Um. So that's for that. So let's check in on Wednesday. So you can set your structure for it. I'll also set mine. We'll also just inform the team for the rest of it during the meeting this evening that okay, it will just be a way to check. Okay, I check on Wednesdays, you check on Fridays. Yes. Okay. Then the other action item was for the video editor to be added to the group chat and for deadlines to be communicated and expectations. So, I mean, I know he's been added to the group, and I know you mentioned that you guys are in progress with it. So, is there anything I need to
Yeah.
know concerning it?
Should we speak more about that now, like during our normal meeting?
I mean, to be fair, yeah, we will speak more about that during the other meeting. So, but yeah, he's added to the group, and then those things have been communicated. So, we'll follow up on the progress during the other meeting. So, that's fine. Um, the other thing was creating specific rubrics for team deliverables across the teams. So, how's that going on your end? This I can ask here because it needs to be made here before it is translated. So,
Okay. So for team deliverables, I think one video per week is okay for the video editor. Like a
mm,
baseline metric that they should meet every week.
yeah, but
They should
like,
work on.
I mean, the essence of the rubrics wasn't it to like show, wasn't it to like show the things that they need to do? Okay, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there should be more information, but
Okay, like editing style.
like so like a checklist. So that's what the rubric is like, more or less like a checklist. Okay, if we have a video, what are we looking out for? Where the logo is placed, where the captions are placed, what the transitions look. I mean, of course, maybe it can't be that deep that oh we're like oh it just use this transition or something. But like, is it catchy? Is there a clear call to action? Is there a clear differentiation? Like, and this applies to the script and then the edit of the video so that it's clear for anyone to see that okay, we edited a video, but as I was editing, I observed that the script did not encompass a call to action. So it's like a quality control. It's like a quality check.
That's like an SOP
SOP, but yes, it's
for
more or less like an
rules.
SOP.
SOP for rules.
Yes, but like the idea is like it's the SOP, but then the rubric makes it easier when you think of it like a checklist, right? So the SOP explains, oh yes, this is what we do. You must have a video ready every week, this, that. You must be clear, have a clear call to action, all of that. But then when it's in the form of a rubric, you've now made it a checklist. And if you remember, you sort of spoke about this earlier on, but like now we're getting better into the place of implementation. So now it's now moving from SOP to checklist such that I'm editing a video and I have this by the side. Is my logo in place? Is there a CTA? Is there a um is it catchy? Like would somebody want to watch this video because it's this? And what does catchy entail? Like this specifics, so it has to be atomic, like just how clearly that information is being communicated. So that's what the rubric entails, like a step by step checklist that the person can look at whenever they are working. Same thing goes for the script writer. If I write a script, is there a good hook that is catchy? Is there a body that is both educative and um, promotional or something? Then leading to the CTA, which actually gets people to do something as a result of watching the video, right? So these are things to
Mm,
check. Is the language simple? Is it highlighting pegs? Do you get? Like these are the things that
mm,
if you're now working, when you've made something, you on your own you can evaluate it by this checklist that is it actually good to go? Because it's one thing to write a script, but another thing to now compare it to this. So this solves the problem of quality control, and because there are several touch points for the quality control, then it gets better because what's happening is that okay, at the point I write the script, maybe I've done my own best and I think it's okay. I don't even deep. I feel like I know what a call to action is, and I wrote it, and I wrote something, and I felt it was a call to action. Then I passed to the video editor, and the video editor is editing, and he's like, "As I'm editing this video, I don't feel like I see anything as a call to action," and you flag it, right? So that brings it to the fore for everyone to look at, like, okay, it seems like there's no call to action, and then like that the person evaluating can look at it and be like, okay, there's no call to action here. Same thing for graphics. Like, is this clear? Is this clean? Are brand colors, brand fonts being used? Are we writing body and body is in Museum Moreno, for example, as opposed to Codec Pro or something? Do you get that kind of thing? So like that's things for people to check and see and know. Is it actually E6B0B0 that is the color I'm seeing here? Be somebody picked bright hot pink from somewhere. Do you get like these are things that will be on the rubric, and then is the design clean? Um, is it too clustered? Like just things that will help anybody that wants to evaluate, so such that there is the independent evaluation party as opposed to me. Like that already does 90% of the work, and then any human can then now look at other things. Do you get? That's the idea behind the
mm.
rubrics that I was talking about last week. So you may want to think
Wow.
about it again to see like just touch points that the editor can work with and the script writer can work with on your end, and then graphics for Emmanuel.
Okay, so I'm so sorry for the miscommunication. Most likely, you said it, but I didn't process it this way.
Oh,
So I apologize for that. I would look into it this week. That requires a lot of sitting down to analyze the process
yeah,
of what makes a good
yeah,
script and video.
yeah.
But yeah, that's something I'll do this week.
All right, awesome. Thank you. And that's something for Emmanuel, and also for me that will be with posting for the social media. You guys, anyways, it's part of the things we talk about in this meeting, but I'm not doing it. I won't do it. Um, the final thing from the last meeting that was an action item was concerning tax stuff, but KB is not here to verify, so I think I'll just have to reach out to her for that one.
Mm.
Yeah, but that's it for things from last week. For this week, there's there are two things. One, I cannot work with Cassandra. I'm sorry, I can't do it, and that's because she's not responding to me. Like, she's not responding to me. It's different if you're taking 1 or 2 days to respond to your messages because you have a lot, but it's another thing for you to not respond at all, and I can't do that basically. So um yeah, I will reach out to her, and or maybe not me, I'll tell Leah to send an email to her that we cannot carry on like this and remove her from the group. I can't do it now. And I'll reach out to Rachel and ask her if she doesn't mind doubling in that regard. Because in the end, Tim Lane is there, right? But also, like, because there are two people, she might as well just do the other part. And besides, it was one of the things that she applied for in the first place.
Yeah, I think that we should just make Rachel the social media manager,
Yeah,
and then she can assist Simlane with
yeah,
email stuff
yeah,
when necessary.
yeah. That's my thought process. So I'll ask, I'll ask Rachel her thoughts, and we'll know what we'll do for that. I can't do it
Mm.
now. Um, before we talk about task assignments for the rest of the week, um, the other thing I want to talk about is the website. So I think I mentioned this maybe way earlier, but basically I've just been thinking about how the website is, and I've also had conversations with the person that built the website for us, and I was just talking about. I mean, we will still talk more about
That's
that.
Pastor Bong, right?
Yes, Pastor Bong. So we have a meeting
Um,
on Wednesday to discuss further about, but basically, like, just the idea that I think it could be more dynamic, right? Because one of the problems we are facing is, for example, if something is happening, the only updates are happening on all our social media platforms, which is fine, but they are not going to our social, like, our website is not reflecting that change. And for example, when we had 30 days to do this challenge promo, the there was nothing about 30 days to do this challenge on the website. And it just felt like a big thing to happen, and just kept, like, and then someone even paid for Cronus Company because Cronus Company was the thing that was linked on the page. Do you get? So just being able to regularly update the site and all of that ahead of things that are going on and making
how
it
much access do we have to the website?
so at the moment he's actually the one that has all of the access, but because of things like the articles that we want to work on, right, and stuff, so that they also help with our SEO, he's going to like create a whole back end thing, and then someone is able to manage that aspect of the website more remotely. And then I believe when I have this discussion fully with him by Wednesday about the dynamism, hear what he has to say, then we'll be able to know what to do. Although there is a separate proposition on the side around just maybe building the entire thing again, but this time with code as opposed to using something like WordPress. Um, there's someone that
Okay.
is looking at doing that, but like I need to be sure that it is doable and balancing it with what presently exists, like just making sure that I believe it will get better if it is done that way, and it will help with our dynamism. But um I just, what do I say, I just
You
don't
shall
want
the
to
pink.
start something before that we cannot finish, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Your hand is up.
Good evening, guys. Apologies. I had an important meeting that spilled over. So uh, about the website, the question I have is when you talk about dynamism, right? How optimal is it to have the website like as dynamic as you're describing it to be? Because from what I'm hearing, except like I didn't properly process it, is that there is the sense that for um for the motions that go on our social media, there should be at least to an extent commensurate motions on the website, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, The question is like it's not like it's impossible,
Mm-hmm.
but what that means is a dedicated team or person that is furnishing the website with those updates consistently, whether design wise or copy wise, or
Mm-hmm.
like that looks like changing. It will look like the way school websites work. So, for example, and even for that, if they don't really change that much. But I'm going to use my school for example. So the way it is, the homepage on the homepage of CU's website, the last time I remember, you have a news tab. Once you come on, the major highlights or major things that are going on in the school at the moment. Maybe we just got a higher ranking, maybe we just invested in something. Those things go up. And I think many other school websites have that, or news websites have that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's headline updates, for example. So that's what the landing page looks like. And then you now start to go through other stuff, like you can navigate to other pages. So that's the first optimal way. So that way, like that's more like linking the um, hero section, the main landing to some kind of blog, like backend content, um, um, content, this thing, directly essentially, where you now pull from and then have that kind of change consistently per what's happening. But normally on a company website, like I don't know, like I'm saying general type of company, like product service type company, these things relatively remain the same.
Of course.
Change, and if there's any change, it's in periods like say Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, um, those kinds of things, because
Mm-hmm.
because you're doing deals,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's typically where you see major changes, but relatively, like there's just it's the same thing. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, yes, maybe at the time we built the website, 30 to do this challenge was not being offered as a service,
Mm-hmm.
but now it's maybe we need a product page for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. That's just adding a product page. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand? Doesn't exactly. It's not. Would you say tweaking or making it as responsive, quote unquote, as the social media would be? And ideally, like for us, like it's an achievable thing, but it's also a costly thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, with the audience we have, where actually do we reach them the most? If the website now becomes more like a more potent touch point for us than social media, then it makes perfect sense. So, like, even though the cost might be higher, like, since most of the traffic is coming from the website, then hey, let's go to the websites. But if the case is that we are getting more traffic from our social media that now leads to the website should then be more information now. So the blogs will be the things I'll be updating, right? The newsletters, the information, right? But the product pages should relatively remain the same because they
Of
describe
course.
what the
Of
product is
course.
about. all those kinds of things. So it depends, but I'm not really sure what the metrics are right now. If we are pulling in more numbers from the websites, because if we are, then maybe it'd be great to actually have some form of dynamism on the website itself. But if the case is that we're pulling more from social media, then I don't think it's so much of a problem. It's just the case. I think for me, I think it should be the case of adding the service pages for any updated service that we have, right? And basically updating the information. For example, now that we have pegs, before what was just on the website was, the wrapped thing. So do you want to replace that with pegs? Do you want to add pegs as a thing as well? Do you want to have that on the website? Like, do you get? It's like basically making additions that emphasize where we are at as a company and what we are thinking, and having product pages for the websites. Maybe if there's an app, eventually there'll be a page for a landing page for the app where people can download or sign up, or a web app, something like that. But point is, relatively, the websites would not be as dynamic as I think you think it should be. So that's what I was just trying to point out.
Yeah, of course. So what I'm just when I'm speaking about the dynamism, of course, I don't expect that maybe we're changing the Chronos Gym page every two market days or something. It's just a thing of, for example, the landing page. So, like you mentioned, when there are sales or something, if we are actively promoting something, for example, the fact that maybe it's Chronos Gym season or something, it makes sense that one of the first things you see, maybe there's a banner that's running on the page saying, oh, Chrono Dream sign-ups are open now or something like that. Or like it should also be a place, and this applies to anything else, right? And I think we could probably also, this one is just a design thing anyways, but just around the homepage, like the information that's actually there, and maybe some more action buttons that are helpful, like for the people. So for example, like in most places, on most pages, like if you open the page in that hero section, there's usually like a button right there that already tells them to take an action. In our case, you don't get to that button until you scroll down. Am I saying that that doesn't work? No, but like I feel like we can also we can also do something about that hero section. Like for example, saying something like, "Oh, we are your productive partners throughout the year. Find out about our services," and then there's a button that takes them to our services. Do you get that kind of thing? Like maybe one page that shows all of the services, one, two, three, and then of course you can then learn more about each service to then land on that services specific page, right? Of course, some of these parts are not a dynamism thing; they are a presentation of information thing, right? So I think maybe there needs to be the thought process around that, and maybe we can conclude on what that could look like before we decide on any action to be taken. But as regards the dynamism, I'm just saying that I feel like it should also reflect the way we are making a buzz on social media that, oh, this is happening. I feel like in some shape or form it should also show up on the website. Not that the website just kind of looks the exact same way, even when, like, if I land on Maximizing Chronos' website when we are publicizing Chronos Gym, I should be able to know from the landing page that, oh, Chronos Gym is open at this point in time. Whether it's a banner, whether it's this thing, whether there's some big pop up or something, or it's just there on the side. So I'm saying this because you talked about traction to the website, and the truth is we are actually losing a lot of potential people that could have followed. I mean, looking at the analytics from the website, we actually get some visits to the website. Like a lot of people actually tend to. I mean, of course, um, I didn't even look at it before this meeting, but the last time I did, maybe imagine maybe like 100 people looking at the website, but they are not taking any action from it. Those are 100 people that were potential customers that could have we could have found a way to collect information from them to then in quote bug them via mail. But like we don't have something like that. We could have There could have been a way information was presented on the site to make them realize that I actually need what these people are giving, right? So all of that, I'm just saying, I think it boils down to the information presentation thing, and we can work on that. But not but okay, yeah, well, but the dynamism is also a non-negotiable, and that dynamism, part of things that's coming up in my mind concerning that is the ease of that change. Like, how regularly can we make these updates? Because you know how it is with the service where, for everything, every change we have to make, like there's an update, but we have to maybe like make a payment for most things, of course, except the blog thing, because if he makes the back end thing, then we can just handle it ourselves. But I mean, I feel like we should also be able to make that change for the banner thing, I mean, by ourselves, as opposed to, but then he does the general maintenance of the website and all of that, and we get to pay for those for now. So I mean, that's just my thought process around it. But then, like I said, I have a proposition from someone to like rebuild the whole thing in a way and all of that. So I think about it, but I don't. I'm just trying to ensure that it's not just an impulsive decision, and that's why, like, first I'm bringing it here, and also we are thinking it through and talking through with Pastor Ubong as to how it could be done. So yeah, hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Like, I've been looking at the website again. To be fair, it was made with as much as we were doing at the time
Of
in mind.
course, of course.
So, looking at, like, yeah, I see what you're talking about indie. So there were a lot of limitations, especially on his end
Yeah.
when we're designing this stuff. So the way the when you land on the page, I still think it's interesting enough when unfortunately too, this was also a limitation thing. I don't know why, but so the idea for this one was a website like Pentagram. Maybe you can check it out later. So Pentagram is a design agency, right? So what happens is that on their landing page, what they did was once you land on the page, I think both of them are one other company called PPH. Once you land on the page, you just see, because they're a design company, you just see their designs like floating, like the designs for different brands floating on the hero section.
Mm-hmm.
And then wherever you click, if you click a button, if you make a scroll, all that disappears, and then you now enter their website essentially. So the idea here was to have like that our arrow. So there's nothing, once you land on the page, the entire screen is filled up with this hero section and these quotes, right? And this video. And so once you make a motion on your with your cursor, you click the arrow, then it takes you straight to the services, which were just the Cronus Gym and Cronus Therapy at the time. But obviously, like there should probably be, not probably, there should be a better list, like where there's more than just the synopsis that's here, because there's a synopsis, right, and it leads you straight to the page if you click on it. But maybe we can do more to explain it, and so like so that all the products or the services are on the main page. And also the thing about wait lists have been mail collections. So with wait lists, automations and stuff when you land on a page. Some people find that buggy, but it might not have to be in the first 10 seconds or first minutes. It can be after 1 minute of spending time on the page. Then something pops up as like, oh, you can sign up to our newsletter, you can sign up to this thing, offer something to get something, and then you get their email. So yeah, it definitely can be better. But yeah, you just you still for him to let you know now what's possible, like what can he do now, like, or what are the limitations now, and if the other person is a better fit, then you might need to actually move instead. So that's that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my thought process, and I feel like, you know, of course, with how much busier he's getting, like, I feel like I have more access to this other person to regularly like make changes where need arises and all. So like, it's just my thought around it anyways. But let's see. Um let's see. Let's see. When I have the conversation with him on Wednesday, then we'll decide what to do based on his explanation. But I didn't just want a situation where I'll just be like tossing it, like, oh, okay, yeah, it's been good, it's been great, but peace out or something. I just wanted to talk it through and see like what was possible, and if we're able to like achieve certain things with what we currently have, then we may not need to make that great move and all. Because I mean, I definitely recall how many limitations we experienced at that point of building. But, and I know, yes, a good part of it also comes from our end with exposure and all. But then at the same time, I also just felt like on the end of offering the service, there were also some things that could have been in place from that end as well. So, yeah. Um, okay. So we'll pick up on this website thing next week after I've had the conversation with him on Wednesday. I'll probably maybe drop some feedback after the call on the group, but if not, we'll just wait till Monday and talk more about it. Then,
Sorry, Precious, I have one more question, and I don't think it's for you. You should ask him. But the question is, how impossible is it for us to actually have the helm of the website in-house? So, like, it's designed, whoever we're speaking to, whether it's Pastor Ubong or anybody else, how do these things typically work? Do we have to have somebody externally on a retainer to have our websites live and active? Or can we do, like, can the website be built, and can it be, in a sense, can we be onboarded to be able to do that by ourselves?
yeah, I mean,
Huh.
I'll definitely
Cheaper.
ask. I'll definitely ask about how much access or how much delegation could be given to us when it comes to handling, because in the end, for anybody that's developing or building a website, they are making their money from managing your website as long as it exists, right? So for all the updates, all the yearly renewals of domain names and all of that, like in the end, those are things that are on them, and management, like ensuring that you're up to date with certain services. I know, so those things are part of the ways that they make their money, those renewals, those subscriptions and stuff. So nobody will want to just completely give you all of the access, but I believe that there are some things we can have access to. For example, how he mentioned the whole blog posting where we can, tweak, we can upload any new blog we come up with, and it automatically updates on the website, that kind of thing. So yeah, but yeah, I'll definitely ask about that. All right, then task for this week, you guys. If we're saying Chronos Dream is happening 14th, maybe not, because there's been no publicity for it.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that actually. Chronos Gym. Why are we having four every year? Or why do we have four every year?
Because I felt like that was what would, like, I felt like we would make it, it would make it like a service that is something that sort of looked forward to in a sense. By that, I meant like, if, because whilst 15K is not a lot of money, it's also a lot of money to some people. So if it's not happening every month, like people can afford to save, knowing that it's coming up at some point in time, if that makes sense. So that was my thought process around it being a number of times, and it also just sort of builds a bit of anticipation, like, oh, creation is coming, that kind of thing. And I feel like we could do better in the publicity aspect of things, such that it becomes something that people look forward to be part of, as opposed to, um yeah. So the idea was to be able to continually cross sell things as well, like I showed you in that cycle thing as well. Like, okay, finish 30 to this challenge, but you can go into Chrono Stream, or you can go to Chrono Stream and then there's 30 to do this challenge next. And also just because of how it's executed as well, because it is demanding to have those three classes. And so if we're able to, like, it just helps balancing around all the things that I presently have to be part of with like a maximizing chronos. I'm not even talking about like my life. Like I have to teach at um chrono stream. I have to be at the weekly check-ins for now, right? So I just felt like okay, it made sense to split it that way. But I mean, I'm open to thoughts. If we think we should have it more regularly, then that's fine. We can work
Okay,
towards it.
so that's actually not even it. I think we should have it less regularly.
Oh, okay.
So this is my hypothetical frame of
No,
thoughts.
like that was very interesting. I thought it was reversed, but please go ahead.
So um hmm. Okay, you guys are. I doubt you guys watch anime.
I
I
used to.
I strongly doubt. You used to. Boo. Okay, no problem. That's very that's very fine. So there were some animes that I started watching in uni that the next season is going to come out when I have kids. So like I know I'm going to wait a lot, as well as like thousands or millions of other people. And when that eventually drops, like there's going to be so much buzz and anticipation around it. I feel that 3 months is too short a period to build as much buzz as you want concerning Chronos Games. And this is probably what I think the key to shifting from having, say, 10, 15 people in a Chronos Gym session to having like 200, 300, where in our videos, we're always teasing it. You say something and like, oh my gosh, now I'm going to talk more about this in Chronos Gym. You say another thing in another video. So yeah, no, I'll talk more about this in Chronos Gym. And there is just this hinting of Chronos Gym from February, March, and then eventually say that okay, Chronos Gym is going to be coming up in like the first week of June.
Mm,
You get, and then you're trying to limit the slot because you want to pour in as much effort as you can.
mm,
That's like after like 15 videos or 20 videos of you talking about Chrono Gym in this way. And when you say, okay, let's go for this period, like when you build that sort of scarcity,
mm,
because it's your effort that are going to be there, like people rush it because there's been a sort of runway for anticipation to be built. I think the results are going to be compounded if we adopt that strategy rather than making it um once in 3 months. People don't miss the Chrono Gym experience. They don't have enough time to anticipate and look forward to it.
hmm,
That's something like that.
hmm.
That's my proposition, Sha.
That's very interesting. I mean, Emmanuel will remember that the other time we talked about this whole like building anticipation thing, like such that there is this scarcity thing, limiting the slots, all those types of things. But like, I mean, this is a very
It sounds
interesting perspective.
it sounds like Chronos Bell to me.
Sorry,
It sounds like Chronos Bell to me.
it sounds like Chronos Dial to you.
Yes.
Mm, fair, fair, right? Because I mean,
Just to explore the idea of behind Chronos Dial is that um after like a year's worth of content pouring out, Chronos James, all those things, right? There is a platform for maximizing Chronos people to meet in person for like a live workshop. Right, in person or virtual, do you get? It's like think about it like Audacity conference, like what Pastor
mm,
Shala just held, right? But everybody there is like has been following maximizing Chronos for all that period. So like do you get, you now come and you actually like you have active you have activities rather, you have like speakers, all those kinds of things. And so um but at the core of it is productivity and the essence of productivity and why you need to be productive and all those kinds of things, networking, all of that. So that sounds like literally as you're speaking, the person that came to mind is like is giving you a boot camp because
yeah,
Do
yeah,
you get
yeah.
exactly
that's part of
like
that. The
yeah.
reason why somebody would say I want to try and listen to this guy in December is like if you're following Pastor actively every other week, like there's enough snippets to make you want to go and listen to a sermon. And then he now says something like he did last year. It's like I've been waiting 6 months to preach this sermon.
Mm,
It's like, do you understand? It's like I understand what you're talking about, but is the for that kind of return, it then means that, and that's the thing that I'm afraid of, I'm scared of. because the content that we have at Chronos Gym, I don't know how like modified it's been, but if I remember, at least at the base of it, I know that the concepts or the base structures will not have changed. But the concepts that we have there, right, are giving day to day, like stuff you can do day to day to go about your life, right? And so if we're going to have Chronos Gym to be as big as you're saying it to be, it means that those contents that we're having people to pay for now, we might have to give it up for free to be able to get them to pay for something more important or more weighty later. So the reason why Audacity Conference, for example, is that Bishop have been pouring out free business advice, free wisdom content for at least like what 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And so it's like if he's saying, "Oh, to come for my sure," and it was even still free technically. Even for him, it was still free. He had sponsors. So for him to now say, okay, for a VIP ticket, maybe like 10K or 100K or all those kinds of things. The same thing with Fela Durito's Speak for Gold. A ticket, a seat, this is not VIP, it's 100K. It was 100K in like 2020, 2019. Like not like just now, like it's been 100K since. I don't know if it's more expensive now. But it's like he says that's the price to get in the space because you're not just getting to see me or see me speak. You're getting access to the people that I'm bringing. You're getting access to other great people that are also paying for the seats. It's like, but the only reason why they can pay for that is because she has given off enough free stuff that people feel valuable enough that oh boy, the free stuff this guy is giving, whatever he has to say behind this paid wall is worth my 100K, for example. So in my mind, thinking about that now means that oh boy, that means that maybe the things that we have on the roster to teach people at Chronos Gym, those things will have to be given to an extent to like for free because if they find the value of if people esteem the value of what they're giving as free to be worth a lot, when you now put a 25K tag for example for a seat at Chronos Gym or 30K tag, it's justified because they've received enough from you to want to give back. Do you understand? And that's where I also kind of agree with Paul in that in a 3 month span, 3 months is like 12 weeks. Technically, are we putting out enough? Because that it could be either we reduce the frequency or we put out so much that it doesn't really matter that it's happening 4 times a year. I don't know if that makes sense. So we can reduce the frequency of Chronos Gym to like twice a year or once a year, or we can keep it as 4 times a year and give enough value in the 3 month span that it's enough to teach somebody to want to come for Chronos Gym. So that now means that we can't just post maybe like in 12 weeks, we can't make 24 posts in 12 weeks. We can't make maybe 30 posts in 12 weeks. You kind of have to make like, and it's not just about the number, it's like quality posts. Maybe long form something, maybe one standard post every week that can now be split into all these other things where there's actual quality, like there's maybe, I don't know, a video of you using a template. So in between that, you're giving content, but you're selling easier things to sell, like templates, like Chronos Company subscriptions, like 30 days to do these subscriptions if that's a thing. But you're still making small bites, right? But the quality of the free content is good enough to like, oh my god, I'm looking forward to seeing what is behind this paywall in June, in September, in December, for example, if that's the case. So it's one way or the other. One way or the other, Sha. The point is you shall need to give the people something worth something that's going to get because even if you spend all the time like from January to June, for example, and we are putting out the exact same kind of content, and all we are doing is just hinting at, oh, more at Chronos Gym, more at Chronos Gym. It's like more at Chronos Gym as per, like, I don't really, do you get it? Like, you can do advertisements for an event for 6 months and still not get a turnout because people don't see why they should be there. Do you understand? But you can do publicity for an event in 2 weeks. It's like if Google says, you know what, I want to host a conference tomorrow, right? Let me put out like the content, like for at least for the people that follow him actively, is valuable enough to say, you know what, I'm going to drive from the mainland to the island to see Google like for 3 hours today, even though like you just told me yesterday by 6 p.m. Do you understand? It's like I would do that. So you can now command some kind of response because of how much is being given. And I reckon that a lot is already being given. Like we give a lot of free stuff. But the question now is like, how do we measure whether what we are giving is enough to drive the kind of numbers that you're postulating? Does it mean that we need more time, like you're saying, like before it will make that before it will push that, because it's like you're putting water in the bucket. Do we need more time to fill up the bucket, or do we just need to pour more water in the bucket? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah. So, I mean, going off of that, I think really it goes back to frequency, right? And that's what we've been talking about from the beginning. Like, more content needs to go out, especially on the educational front. Like, content that is actually valuable in different ways, in different streams. And then, of course, maybe the in quote fun ones that make people connect to us, and also like, and aside the fun, also just understanding why we do what we do the way we do it. So people, because that's how you find your people. The more you share your vision, the more you explain and express the heart behind what it is you're doing, people are able to connect to it and feel like, oh yeah, I need a teacher that understands that my life is not like, I'm not trying to be like I want to do better, but I'm not trying to turn into some discipline rat or something. Like in some shape or form, right? Like all I'm just saying is the essence is frequency. And if we only keep putting out content when we're trying to publicize something, right? Like you're not
Sounds
connecting
overshare.
to people, right? So that's the thing. We don't have enough content that is going out, and that's one of the things we have to fix this year. So maybe what we could do is to decide a new content plan.
Sorry,
Like,
Trust. We're recording.
yes, we are. Maybe what we need to do is to decide a new like content approach that is like, I mean, of course, this is why we've already spoken about the whole content that highlights pegs, so that people get to feel something in a particular way, right? And excuse me, and feel like, oh yeah, these people get me, right? But not just, oh wow, we have 30 to do this challenge coming up, and we have like 10 videos for it, and afterwards, like, there's nothing else, right? We need to put out carousels. We need to put out blogs. Like, we need to touch every point so that people can feel like, oh, I I met them on Substack. Oh, I met them, but in the end, they're all going to the same place. I met them on LinkedIn, I met them on Instagram, I met them on Twitter. And that's why Cassandra cannot work for us. Do you understand? Sorry, that was the part of joke.
Mm.
But all I'm just saying is that there needs to be like energy. This message recording. Hope she won't hear it. But I'm just saying, like, there just needs to be the frequency, and this goes back to generating content enough that puts out value, and people can feel like this is something that they will actually benefit from. We could probably reduce Chronos Gym to 3 as opposed to 4. So if we do maybe March, June, September, for example, because nobody is hosting Chronos Gym in December, right? But say we do March, June, September, as opposed to February, April, July, September. If we do 3, then like, and then maybe there's 30 days to do this challenge for all the other ones. Like, oh, if you missed last one, join this one, something like that. And then, like, I feel like maybe the whole in quote buzz thing can be better, right? So there is sort of like more room to prepare for it, not for not because of course the content will always get better. Like maybe even working around delivery, like, okay, how else can we even present this information that is better than the last time? Oh, could we even bring people? Well, I mean, we could just work towards that for Dial, for example. But then Chronos Company also is working on the side, having the monthly webinars and stuff. Like, those are things that are building connection. Or even if it's not just Chronos Company's webinar, it's just something that, like, there have been areas in which people have found value from us. because in a sense we are really trying to get people better on a holistic level. Whilst yes, of course, if you're able to stay in control of your time, then that's a key thing. But some other things get to be taught, which is why the quotes are important. Because whilst like they are helpful things for life. I mean, okay, James Clear wrote a book on habits, but the quotes he's continually sending in his newsletter, not all of them have to do with habits. Like they're just life thoughts and life principles. And he has continued. Do you get? So that's the idea basically. I'm not saying like getting confused or getting lost. It's just that you want people to feel complete. And I think one of the things that really opened my heart to this was going through Chronos for Impact and meeting with these people so regularly, hearing things they had to say, maybe during the check-in calls and someone is talking about how this place feels like therapy for them. I'm not saying I'm trying to be anybody's therapist. It's just like someone is listening and someone understands me and someone is positioning me to be better based on my specific circumstance, right? Do you get? So it's just really great to see, and I think it can be amplified. Okay, that was a lot of talking, but I hope the message was not lost in the rambling. The conclusion of that is frequency. There just needs to be more content, and more content that is not just about sales, but is actually just adding value. The reason why you're connecting to someone like Eric or Salem or anybody is because it feels like they're telling you things that you need for free. But if we only are speaking to people when we're trying to sell something, then they're going to feel like you're using them. And that's why more educational content needs to go out. We need to increase our posting frequency. The quotes, so having quotes on Monday, having educational content on Friday, and then one that is highlighting us generally on Wednesday, that's okay for a baseline, but there needs to be more. Like there needs to be at least one more educational stream. Maybe one of them is reels, the other is carousels, or like it just depends, right? So that's just my thought. Paul.
Okay. I think I'm echoing from your end. Anyways,
Okay, I can hear you.
you're right about you're right about outputs. You're very right about it. Um, Another contrarian suggestion. Oh, so last time we had a conversation, I spoke about how I wanted, or I was suggesting rather, that the we could do something and then we get feedback from the audience externally.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't mean that in the sense. I think this is what like it eventually came across to you guys as we'll do something and then we only know from how people react if it's good or bad. That's actually not what I meant. I meant we provide something that is quality that we expect to be good. We expect to work well with the hypothesis. So like quality videos, quality posts, things that are good and decent that would are acceptable to us, and then we'll see how well it fits into the market, like product marketing, that kind of thing, but for content now. Based on my observations from our engagements, our quotes don't get a lot of reach and they take quite some efforts to do. And so this is my contrarian take. I think we should stop making the quotes and rather make videos about the quotes. And instead, what the graphic designer would do is to now create high quality carousels once in a while, maybe once in 2 weeks, because it takes a lot of work to make a high quality carousel for a volunteer role. I say it's contrarian because it's against what I've been doing, but I think it's going to be more eyeballs per content we put out because generally videos get more views than stills, generally speaking. and our videos would have like a better rate of being shared. Our content will have better rate of being shared if they were not still images. Let me put it like that. Right now, I've been doing that because it helps build a consistency muscle. But also, a business wants to make money, especially this year. And so, like, if we want to see different things, we need to do different things. That's my take. I'd like to get your feedbacks from that.
Okay,
Okay.
Manuel, your hand is up.
Yeah. To be fair, the idea is well founded. What I wanted to share literally before you said this was, I think we also have to remember like the point of each type of content. So essentially, reels are for reach, stories are for engagement, and carousel are typically for education. So the way it works is that going from what I like real stories, carousel, right? The level of engagement drops, and the circle for reach also reduces. So ideally, when you post a carousel, you're posting it for people that already follow you. Typically, like carousels are viewed and interacted with by people that already follow you, right? You don't exactly reach new audiences with carousels. That's one interesting thing, right? Stories, right? Even though the first people that see it is your people. I think I once I'm getting it wrong. I know I saw it somewhere. There's a content strategist that puts it up like that, right? Those ones are for engagement. So while the carousel like educates, right, the stories that get your people engaging with you, and I think stories can be shared if I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
or those are things that make it to your highlights, for example, right? But that's more engagement focused. But for reach, like people to just see the stuff, it's got to be video content, even if it's text. Like I'm even trying to work on content for myself, and I'm looking for the lowest possible hanging fruits, right? And I want to type, but I want to make it videos, right? I'll see if I can use my voice or something. But point is like you're right, Paul. Videos are like if you're looking for a reach and if your numbers are a thing, right, then you've got to use videos. In short, like even if whether like that's the only way you can be discovered right now on the internet. Some kind of video. If it's long form, it's on YouTube, if short form is on Instagram, YouTube, um, TikTok, or which other one again, Snapchat. Point is like it's got to be video format. It's very it's not even good service bad, but hey, the only place that video format doesn't like is not moving as much numbers or many numbers is Twitter or X. And even then, say try putting up shots consistently, you will still get traction. So because nobody is texting, but nobody is like putting as many videos on Twitter because not a video space. So if you make a Twitter page where you're going against the grain and you're considering putting up quality shots, then you're still going to get traction. So once somehow everything has become video focused, and that maybe it would mean that even our barrier for entry would have to be, or barrier for creation will have to be reduced, or you get in a sense like it means that maybe it should be okay that somebody can pick up the phone and say something, right? Because that way you're creating more, right? But also there's also this school of thought that like you can decide to create one piece of quality content every week, and it should be better than just pumping stuff. But then quality only depends on what your audience thinks is quality. So before you can know what quality content is, you have to go the route of putting out plenty things at random at first, and then you decide what quality is, and then you can start doing that. But yeah, I guess in the end, there's no escaping the work of making videos. And I think like that's a hard truth sharp up. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think I hold an opposing view to videos, to more videos. For the quotes, I think, mm, yeah, gosh, that's more scripts then and more shooting. I think one of the other reasons, like one of the things that helps with the videos is also the fact that there get to be collaborations on them. But then overall, I just feel like if the videos are good, the videos are good, right? And they may not have to be like everything.
What if we end up pivoting and making it a you thing at first?
What do you mean a you thing?
What if maximizing Chronos was first Precious Okon?
Huh. Oh my gosh. That would be such a shift from the whole
Yes,
separation
yes,
of
because
entities.
I'm the one that's suggesting it because I'm the one that also suggested that we try to make it like an independent thing as well. But for Reach, um, you can see you can see how much more interactions we have when you collaborate,
Of
and it's
course.
not even because like you have a billion followers. Do you get it?
Mm-hmm.
Just puts it in place of the people that maybe just like the way you are or like just follow you, just follow, and then it's like okay, cool. Do you get? And maybe they never even go to the page, but they just see you talking about productivity, so they know that you're a productivity coach building maximizing, and then like I in the end maybe it was not, I don't know how, I don't know whether I'm taking back my words, Sha, because I do know the benefits of building independent of you so that like you have a business that is thriving and that is growing. But with the way you're speaking about like like the impact of the Chronos for impact, right? How, because in that essentially I'm guessing that it was a case where you were hands-on with a couple of people consistently for a period
Mm-hmm.
of time, right? Exactly. The thing that was resonating with them was not like quote unquote a brand maximizing Kronos. It was you.
Mm-hmm.
And even though like you can be like a strong persona for the brand, maybe it's worthwhile to actually start like that because it will make posting easier and less bureaucratic, for example. Because if you can wake up and have a thought on your mind about productivity or about helping somebody, right? Everything shall still pointing towards maximizing Kronos, and then you're consistently sharing, especially when it's a productivity thing. If it's a maybe faith thing, like that's you. If it's another a cooking thing, maybe that's you. But if it's something that's to do with actually getting stuff done, every single time you have a thought about that, you whip up your phone and you make a video and collaborate with maximizing Kronos, right?
Hmm.
I think, do you get like first of all that means that you're not thinking so much about even scripting,
Mm-hmm.
motions, it's like you're just talking, like you're just making content, right? And that would increase outputs for one. But I'm not even going to lie, like it's like yeah, it's me swallowing my words and it's very, very strong, it's very, very hard. But at the same time, that just might be that just might be the optimal route for what we're trying to do. Because I understand the barrier of entry. Like it's not like you don't I imagine that, and if from you know you, I don't imagine that it's a hard thing to talk about what you believe or what you like or what you want to. It's not a hard thing to make a post on Instagram or put content out. But when you think about it as per okay, this is maximizing influence content, then you now have to reach script that Paul wrote, then you have to position your camera, then you have to say, oh no, let's do it again. Oh no, different. It's like it means that's an entirely different setup from just saying what you think. Especially when we can trust that what you think is not rubbish, because obviously there's, and even if it's rubbish, it's still traction. Do you get like people
Mm-hmm.
do that? People get followers on the back of rubbish. But you're talking, yes, on the back of absolute nonsense, like they just whip up their cameras and say whatever they want to say, right? And because it's rubbish, the comments are now buzzing like, which kind of nonsense be this? They're like, great, great, great. You see insights when you go to the insights, you see engagement, see interaction. To even whip out their camera and post on that rubbish. But if like at the core of it is like, okay, you just want to communicate this thing you're talking about, like this heart. In the end, that is us building a brand. Like that's the brand thing, brand building thing, right? And if we don't have, it's either we put in the work to push the maximizing chrono brand through a couple of other faces or maybe no face at all. But that's the thing. Once there's no face, it's harder to connect. So typically, even when the CEO or the founder doesn't want to be the face of a thing, there's typically other faces that they can relate with. You get? There's typically like other people. Is like maybe, for example, buy soups. If you check buy soups, I'm using people that we can relate with. Buy soup as last page. I don't think his face is there, but to go on the page, you see somebody else's face. You know, you see ads with other people, like all those kinds of things. So the relatability, like in this content thing, is important. I'm struggling with a brand. Maybe I was. I don't know if it's struggle to continue. Where the founders don't want to have to show their face, and yet we have to sell the thing. And like it's a hard thing to do because founders don't show their face. There's nobody that is being the face of the brand. As important as that is, and like so it feels very impersonal. And so if you're looking at like that whole personalization, maybe that's a way to go. I don't know. Um, but yeah, maybe we can do that. Maybe it doesn't completely be a you thing. Maybe it's just that maybe you start making more content about productivity and collaborating with us. Adding making that the extra stream we're talking about. While we keep up the content that's already going, but then there's that video every week where you actually say something about productivity and it's you collaborate maximizing Chronos. for
But
example.
then how do we strike the balance in like editing, for example, like logo and all for because if it's a video that's, you know, going with maximizing Chronos, then like the whole branding thing still has to be there.
So for that, what if you think about what does the branding entail? Putting the logo at the top center of the video that you make, right? So the only thing you have to remember is maybe just give a bit of headroom when you're speaking. Like you can literally be a thing where you're holding your camera or you're holding your mic, or you put your camera and you're holding your mic. It's like something easy, right? So at most we can have the maximizing Chronos logo at the top there, or just don't even have it because it's one stream of content, right? We can create. So what we can do is that for the maximizing Chronos page, that exact same video. Okay, no, if it's collaborated, then we can split it. Because I was thinking we can have different covers on the maximizing Chronos page and different on your own page. But if it's a collaborated post, then it's only one cover. Eh,
Do you know what I think?
you
I think
maximizing Chronos.
I think for those types of posts, right? Maybe they could go on stories like my story, and then like I could eventually send the post to Paul, and then we could send it later. I don't know. Like
Your
so,
stories are not as effective as posts now,
what
are
I'm
they?
thinking is like I like I think in the end it falls back to me. Like if I put out content regularly, like when there is then maximizing Chronos content, then it's already attached. Like there's already so much traction on Precious Okon that maximizing Chronos is attached to that, right? So like I actually have to be a content creator ish, like as an individual. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, it's funny that we've come back to this point because I've come to this point before and I abandoned it. But okay, no problem. So I have to be a content creator in some shape or form. Of course, nothing crazy and out of the ordinary. But you guys, by the way, there was a
You
content.
already plan to write 50 articles this year now. Like,
Mm.
and it
No,
was meant to be you now.
writing articles is different from shooting videos. That's the thing.
What about long form?
Sorry.
What about long form?
Exactly. If
So
you do
like
one long form,
okay, so it's actually a thought I have. So if I actually just shoot videos, but that's the thing. This is the differentiation I struggle with. If I make a video, maybe talk about my life or something, and some things that I do or something like that, that would go on Precious Okon, right? But then do we then cut that and put it on Maximizing Chronos or something like I
oh,
don't
no,
know.
no, that's so. I wanted to
That's
ask you a
probably
random question first, and it's similarly random. Say the video about you cooking or prepping to host people.
Mm-hmm.
How stressful was it a video for you to make? Like honestly, how stressful did it feel?
It was stressful, but not that stressful.
Why do you
Cause it
think?
was just fun, like me existing. So I was doing the things. Like, oh, it's true. Let me capture this part, and then I now had to join them together.
That's my point, essentially. With the videos that are like that your thing. It doesn't have to be are you maximizing chronos? Okay, maybe you are as you're cooking soup. Like maybe you are maximizing chronos, but like that's not what I'm not saying that we should like cut bits of that. I'm saying that it's basically you positioning as a thought leader.
Yeah,
Do you understand? So the thought leader still has other things like
that go on
good
in
example.
their life.
Do you get exactly? Temi has her moving from Abuja to Lagos or something, or starting lights and curtains, or but do you get like she's still a thought leader in some way, shape, or form. Do you get that? So like sometimes she uses of the camera and then she's talking about something important to her, talking about faith, talking about so the idea is that in all the facets of your life, we're taking maximizing chronos as one stream, and every single time you have something to say about productivity, getting stuff done, time management, project management, every single time you have something to say about that, we're saying it should be hitched with maximizing chronos. That's what I'm saying. So
So
obviously, we're also saying that it means that we should start talking about that a lot more often. That's what we're also saying, right? But that so the content we don't have to when it's something different, right? Except maybe, for example, it could be something adjacent. So you're in church, and then somehow the anchor text is Ephesians 5:16 or Ephesians 5:14, 15, 16, all those things, redeeming the times, all those kinds of things, and then you happen to have recorded and you happen to like yes, that's service, that's like a church thing, that's like maybe a face-based learning moment, but at the same time, like that's why maximizing chronos exists. So you see how like that kind of content is like, oh, this is about my face, oh, that's why I do what I do at maximizing chronos. Do you understand? It's like those kinds of like it feels very organic in that like okay that's just you living but at the same time like that's at the heart of maximizing chronos and so somebody might just be like oh my god I want to redeem my time, let's go to maximize. You get to like now you're joining faith to the thing itself. At the same time I understand how that can be alienating to is like maybe a Muslim now doesn't want to maximize their chronos because because it's from Ephesians. Stupid by the way, but hey, point is taking a stream or aspect of your own personal living, right, and hitching that to maximizing chronos as a way to as a training wheel potentially, right? Because the point is that when they come to maximizing chronos, there are things that are going to be outside of you. You come to maximizing chronos and then okay, you know what? I want to check out what Chronos company is for. They're not going to be seeing you every day now. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're going to be interacting with other people. They are going to be interacting with the services of maximizing chronos. But the heart of maximizing chronos is being communicated by you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Because in the end, like no one else can actually communicate it
As best.
as best.
At some point there would be like when we maybe we can afford like to do that. Maybe on the maximizing chronos page, like besides you, in short, it might be a thing where even you're showing up on the maximizing chronos page, like, oh my god, we have our founder, something like that. But like there's other people that we see their face talking about time, this one. So essentially maximizing chronos is doing its own thing. But the idea is that you're talking about productivity is like a training wheel that can is like that added booster, and we want the booster every week for example. Do you understand? It's like there's that added booster there. Like, yeah. But for example, its thing is putting out quotes, is putting out testimonials for the people that is helping, is showing how to use your time, is teaching people that sometimes you're on a live with somebody else on the maximizing chronos page because the person is a productivity guru and you want to have a conversation with them to get maybe even involving more people too. Is there any other productivity person or somebody that is great at managing their time that I want to speak to? So that's where the long form comes in. Like, okay, you could have a 1 hour talk teaching. And did you watch Pastor Bisola did a whole thing in beginning of the year where she gave how to manage your did you get? Oh my, that's so that's for example, if Pastor Bisola was the owner of Maximizing Chronos now, even though she's a pastor and a project manager and would see like that's the kind of content that would be split and put in bits on Maximizing Chronos. Like this is what the project, this is what this thing is. Do you understand? And so now you have like the 20-minute or 25-minute content broken down to 10 pieces of content. You use it to write copy for a quote and explain the quote. Use it to write copy for a carousel. Use it to like make a short reel to get that drive people back to the YouTube, for example. Like yeah, but the idea is that because it has to be time management, project management, execution, it's tied to maximizing chronos.
You're going to bed. Yeah, I'm lying down. Come down again. Alright. Sorry for that. Yeah. I hear you. Okay.
Uh-uh.
Okay, Paul, you've tried unmuting a number of times.
I just asked myself, wait till I want to finish. So I didn't want to say anything very. It's so blessed. I wanted to say, your hi guys, welcome to my channel era.
What? What?
I wanted to say, your hi guys, that welcome to my channel. Today we'll be talking about like in that era now. Well, yeah. Anyways, I agree with Emmanuel. Like it's long form content would help with the splitting. Like if we want to produce volume, and we don't want you to be overburdened. Aside reducing the barrier for creation, having long form content to like provide that cushion. From 125 or 30 minutes video, you can get like 10 snippets. Very true. I agree with that.
Okay.
But after we're done with this show, there's something on briefly also. But I would like
After
to hear
I'm
your
done
feedback.
with what?
Like after we're done with this train of thoughts concerning content creation, I also want this. I'm like raising my hand for the future. Like when we're done, there's something I want to bring up briefly.
Okay. Okay, so I mean, like long form has crossed my mind. It's just I keep thinking like the sustainability of it and all. But maybe I'm just overthinking like because I'm unable to see the fullness of it. It's difficult to start because like you don't want to start where you cannot continue. But I think I should probably just throw that away and just start. um, mm, Maybe we can just put the videos on Maximizing Chronos' YouTube channel.
Yes, now that's that's where to go. And funny how YouTube has this thing where you can even collaborate with someone. But I don't know if it's only for like verified. I don't know, but like I've seen channels that collaborate with
Yeah,
each other.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We could do
So
that
that's
research
also
and
still.
confirm.
Mm.
Mm. You guys, this is funny. I mean, I know this is an official meeting, but this is me actually being dragged. Because, like, the other day, something crossed my mind around, like, oh, this YouTube you're running from, like, you don't know that it's supposed to be, like, a channel thingy. So I'm just like, oh, for God's sake. Oh, for God's sake. Oh, for God's sake. But yeah, I think people actually enjoy listening to me speak. So we'll do that. Okay, okay. So the thing now is, guys, to work on
How?
videos, like I need to be sure that other things are running so I can actually just think for videos. And it's difficult doing COO with brainstorming. That's the truth. It's actually a lot because like I need to know that okay, if I'm not actively checking on certain things, they are going to run regardless. And I need to know that my guys here can do that.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I think we just need to clarify all the things that clarity is the only like barrier to that.
Okay.
So once we're clear on okay, this is what pressure expects from us, this is what we need to do. This is a follow-up or a manual left. This is like a structure that we can implement such that we are consistent in our tasks.
Okay.
We can handle this. Like clarity is just the barrier to that.
So what
Once
are
we're
you
clear on what to
unclear
do.
of presently?
Okay, so what are the things that you are doing right now that can be transferred to us to give you more room to create content? That's like where the clarity lies. The need for clarity lies currently.
Okay. So at this point, a lot of I feel like a lot of the information is still domiciled within me, like around maybe what we are really trying to do. And I don't know why I'm still struggling. I feel like so to me I feel like I've said everything I need to say concerning all maximizing chronos is about. But when I see some things it's like I've still not said all I need to say. Right? But okay, let's see. With following up on stuff like ensuring that people because when you talk
Or
about
let's do this. Let's say you said, you know what, I want to take a break. You dropped your phone and you left your house. You went to the hotel in Leeds and
mm-hmm,
you stayed there for a week.
mm-hmm.
What will happen to maximizing chronos?
That's the thing.
Yeah, let's walk through that. What will happen?
Okay,
Like, what are the things that would happen?
what will happen? Content needs to go out. And how does that content go out? Somebody needs to ensure that the posts that we have in the bank have gone out. One.
Social media manager, okay.
Someone needs to ensure that there are captions for every post and they have been vetted.
Social media manager, script writer, okay.
Someone needs to ensure that every task that we've assigned during the strategy meetings has happened or is in progress. Someone needs to monitor the progress of those things and follow up with necessary parties.
Admin secretary, okay.
Someone needs needs to oversee every single thing, being the person to answer any question that people have about what is going on.
Admin secretary, founders associates. Okay.
Someone needs to review all the documentation that has come in for that week to think of new things that should come up in the new week. For example, meeting
Re-
minutes and stuff, or yeah,
reviewing documentation.
like
Okay.
reviewing the meeting minutes, maybe rewatching this thing again to think on best ways to execute, like creating the strategy that we are going to work with.
Okay, strategists. Okay, founders associates and admin secretary. Mm-hmm.
Someone needs to follow up on external, in quotes, vendors that are providing services where need be, like if need be.
Okay, so that is something that the more we get access to, the more we would access because currently no one does that.
Yeah. So
So after a meeting on Wednesday, that will now be the function of the admin secretary because it's not something that happens consistently.
mm,
Yeah, it's a once in a sporadic rather.
mm, okay. What again? Someone needs to someone needs to think about content ideas.
Think about content ideas.
Like
That's
not just the scripts. Like so the other day I had an idea for content. Like that would be fun. For example, maximizing, not maximizing, like S over Z. Like POV when you write maximizing instead of like it was just supposed to be something fun. Because I feel like that's one thing we don't have, like funny content. Like I need someone
social media manager.
that takes thinking about content like their life blood. And social media manager is not doing what I need them to do because I just want to be able to think about, like, I just want to
The things that
have
move the needle.
the things that what?
That move the needle. Like the
Yes.
important things.
Yes, that's just what I
Or
want because I feel like I'm still so caught up in operations and it's affecting my ability to think like I want to.
okay. Hmm. So based on like the delegation we've done this afternoon, I think a better word for me at this point is probably be like a strategist too, or it's like clarifies like my own current role.
Mm,
But based on like our assignment right now, for that last one about someone that lives and breathes content,
mm-hmm,
social media manager.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm,
she ensures there's something to post. She posts and she looks for other things we can make to post.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that. And then like
So okay, then what
strategies,
else? Let's
like
continue thinking.
for strategists, right? Like someone that is like, we need to make this move to position us better for more clients, right? Or something like that. Or for our services to be pushed better, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's something I'm currently doing in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So founder associates.
Mm-hmm. And it's one thing to bring the idea, it's another thing to create the system for its execution.
Yeah.
And I think one place we are failing at is actually execution. I feel like we've had lots of bright ideas, but we've not fully created the stream that will ensure great execution. I know, of course, previously the major limitation was hands for the work, but now I think it may be the clarity you mentioned.
Mm,
But I think
okay. So
some
for
people
this,
that, sorry, I cut
okay,
you, but I think some people that have
yeah,
probably achieved the most clarity so far are community managers. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I feel they're the ones that have achieved the most clarity so far. For others, we are still struggling. So, yeah, go on.
Okay, so now based on like the questions you asked, the questions, the points you raised up, and the English, based on the objections
Mm-hmm.
you raised up and the assigning that I gave,
Mm-hmm.
would you be, let's say we're all working in like tip top shape,
Mm-hmm.
would you be able to go to Leeds for 1 week and come back and nothing is burning? Like if this was operational.
I believe I should be able to. And I need somebody that was actively documenting the things that we've like arrived at. By this I mean like, because I'm trying to think up the pipeline for certain things and I'm trying to write them, okay, if we do this, if we do it, like this is how this will work, this is how this will work and all of that. Like I've
Is
created.
that's operations now, not okay, the CEO as well. But this is another thing I think is taking up your mental space. I think I'm meant to also think of operations too. I don't have like entire context now. I need to understand. But that's something I think I'm meant to do as well.
Yeah,
Like
like
the operators part of it,
yeah,
implementation.
like because because I keep thinking if I can ensure that everybody is running like a well-oiled engine, right? Like everything in operations is running, then it's easier for me to be like, let's just look at the content, right? Um, when I say the content, like I can just think of like it relieves me of ensuring has this person done this thing. I can now just say I need to ensure that I have this so that this person can do this, which are two different things. Do you get?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so in a sense, it's like I also get assigned tasks, but my own tasks, rather than them being overseeing what people have done, it is just be a content churner for us. Do you get?
Mm.
Because I want to be able to sit down and just be writing articles and be happy. Oh, look at this wonderful day on prioritization. Oh, look at this wonderful thought I had the other day. Like musings with like for this personal content thing now that we're talking about, the editing of it is something that's also giving me concern because I wouldn't just want to come and throw my personal content on you guys as things to do because that's not what you signed up for. You signed up for maximizing chronos, not Professor Kun. They're two different things. Do you get? So the editing of that is also a thought on my mind. Like, wow.
Mm.
I want to. I need. I mean, it doesn't have to be fancy. It's just. I just need to ensure that it will make somebody want to listen to what I'm saying.
Mm. Okay, so a steady video editor would handle that also. Like it's possible for that video to handle that.
It's possible for what?
For a video editor to handle that, like the files are shipped, the person knows, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. The deadline is clear for when to submit. Social media manager is also in the loop. Like it's something that a good system can accomplish.
Mm. Because that's why
Yeah.
I started
So
going. I started thinking more about the low ticket contents like the articles and the carousels because I know that video editing is a big thing. Do you get?
Mm. No, but it's only a big, it's only like really big at the start. After like a video editor has created templates and has a like workflow, it's much easier for them to be able to produce more output.
Mm.
So I think, and that's one of the blocks right now with Wikiri Akubari. He has a lot of mistakes to make so that he can know what is right and what is wrong.
Mm.
He's not there yet. That's his best I can put it. It's not there yet. But soon, soon. I'll try and be as clear as possible in guiding him. But don't worry about video editing. Don't worry about video editing. It's going to also be sorted.
Okay. Because,
So
like, you know how you guys were talking
because
about people connecting with me as a person? Like, I get that,
mhm.
and like the whole being a thought leader, this. Like, I feel like if I get to share, in a sense, some other aspects of my life, which is why, if you notice, I started posting more of my stories, because it's like a lower barrier to entry to that
Mm,
compared to like making a whole post. But if it needs to be a post, then we can probably plan the whole edit that can go into it. But like, I think I'm actually just going to use my stories. It might, I think it's a lower ticket to entry. That's my thought process. That's my thought
yeah,
process.
it is, but you reach call. Someone will not swipe in or not see it.
Do you know what's crazy? I'll show you recent. Well, I can't show you, but like I'll tell you recent stats that I got. I had a lot of people that are not my followers actually view my stories. In the last
Wow.
30 days, 67.7% of my views came from non followers. And what was the content type? Stories. So, I mean, I know, of course, part of this came from the fact that Apostle reposted something I made. But even other things that did not like get reposted to other people, I had because the one that Apostle reposted, I had 13,000 people view that story. But all the other stories that I posted normally, I have an average of 500 people plus that are viewing my stories, and they are not and not all of them are my followers. Do you understand?
Mm,
So I'm just saying that I don't think. Am I saying, oh, posts don't matter? No. I'm just saying that I think I need to probably work that muscle to get into a bit of consistency. And based on how much people continually engage with those, then it kind of gives the energy to go into, not energy per se, but like it's like you actually feel like you're responding to something that people want when you make a full post about something. But with stories, it just gives this vibe of I'm just telling you what I think, right? Like the whole thing Emmanuel said about, oh, just picking up my phone and telling people something that came to my mind. I can make a story, and based on how people are engaging with it, I can turn it into a post. Do you get what I'm saying?
okay. Okay, it's like a testing ground
More or less.
for ideas.
More or less.
Okay.
But I mean, of course, this does not mean the long form idea is out the window. That one will definitely happen regardless. But like, I just think there needs to be something that is um that is easy to get into, basically.
Okay, something that has like no barrier to entry.
Yes, because
All right.
I feel like I've tried content with like um the posts, and it was easy to get discouraged with not as many likes, and I get the whole thing of, oh, don't care about the numbers, blah blah blah. But with stories, like, I don't really care. Like, I just want to post about what is going on, right? It's easier to think like I don't really care if I'm posting on stories compared to a post. Do you get? Why are you
I,
laughing?
I guess I'm sorry. It's it's like my own flashback. You're right. You're right. You're right. It's stories seem like a. I
Just
get what
like
you're saying,
don't you
Sha.
get like I don't know how to explain. Like people may not comment on my post, but they can comment on my stories. I don't know. I don't know, but some people that I haven't spoken to in a while would respond to my stories. Like I don't know how to
You
explain.
know, the thing is, you appear differently in both of them, and
Yeah,
that's the thing. People connect to the authenticity. Like in this
exactly.
age where packaging is now like the norm with AI and co, it has
Yeah.
just raised the need for authenticity to a new level,
Yes.
which is pretty interesting. So what I think is, as much as like you have a concern about posts being being more formal and stories being just you share your mind, the posts that will do well actually you just share your mind. Very
Hmm.
funny, you know.
Okay.
And it will only work that way when you don't care about the post and you see posts as just stories in a different way.
Okay, I get that. But the thing is, when it comes to a post, I'm now thinking, oh, caption, oh, song for the post, oh, this. But like with stories, like it's just like, story. Do you get? Like it feels like it has to be sort of prepared to be a post, and that is
Says
the stress.
says who?
No, because for example, if I'm making a post for Maximizing Chronos, I have to put the logo. I don't have to put the logo if I make a post on stories. Do you see that? Like, if I shoot a video, I have to think, oh, I have to send to Paul. I have to upload on the drive. Paul, download it, edit it, then send back to me. Do you get? Like, I mean, oh well. Sorry, this is probably me just ranting or something. But you know what? It's fine.
No, the thing is, we can actually change things. Oh.
Hmm.
Like change is very possible. We can adjust our like workflow to suit the easiest path. I think there's a way that Silent King puts it, like low barrier to entry, yes,
Yeah,
like
low
low
barrier
barrier
to
to
entry.
creation.
Mm-hmm.
We can implement a system like that.
Okay. So
I
what's
don't know.
the
You could have like a particular um page. Let's say on edits now. When you have edits on your phone, when you record a story, you put that video on edits and you download it back because that place you're putting it into already has maximizing Chronos logo and ending is the end credits, Abi. So what you do is that you just put the video, you don't even edit it, sef, just put the video there, download it with the logo and the outro and post. It still seems really natural and it's still branded. That's one option.
what do you mean by this you've explained? Sorry.
Okay, what I mean is you speak for, let's say, 45 seconds. When you're done speaking, rather than uploading your video straight into Instagram, you upload it into edits. Do you know edits?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you upload it into edits. And you already have a template where the logo already is positioned rightly. There is already a background outro. So you upload it there, then you export it with the logo background. You don't touch anything else. It still feels very, very natural. And then you upload that one and it's branded.
Captions. Is it also in the template? How do I
Your purpose
create
can.
the template?
So what a template is basically is, when you make a video, you do some settings in the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so now that main body, just delete it and
Mm.
duplicate that thing. That's a template. So let's say I recorded a video, or you recorded a video. You put it inside edits for the first time. You chose the font type for the captions. You put the logo, place it the right way. You put the, you could even scrap that thing at the end so that it could just be like a rule that plays very well with our logo there. Then you just put the logo in the right place, put the right font type of captions, and then the main body you put, you delete it. Then you come out of that file, you duplicate it, and that's a template.
Okay.
I don't know, the way I'm illustrating, does it make sense?
I get what you mean. I mean, yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, so like that would take an additional 20 minutes to do rather than just posting it live, but it's going to 5x our output. And plus, it's going to add authenticity to the brand, which would also like get inbound leads as well. Because we're not just doing these things so that it's easier to create content. I think because the strategy of using authenticity, connecting, sharing your raw thoughts is a brand strategy. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Actually is. And we can do like those are now low effort posts. You can do 2, 3 low effort posts a week. Do heavily edited ones from the long form you create that are snipped up into different pieces. We have our graphic designer make like a nice carousel once a week or twice a week, or once in 2 weeks rather. And we have like different sources of content, which most of which have like a subtle hint towards Chronos Gym. And you're not the one trying to run the show, hoping that's like everywhere is well, you're just doing your own thing, brainstorming, making content where you need to, and more brainstorming. So it's possible. It's possible. That's what I'm saying. And I know it's going to take a while for you to probably like wrap your head around it because like it just I've thought about it very well, but like it's a bit sudden to you now, I guess. So that's fine. It's something I'm more and think over.
I think I think I'm fine with it, honestly.
Okay.
I think I'm fine with it, to be honest. Like, hmm. Okay, so I should. Okay. Okay.
What you need from me for now is just finding a way to detangle yourself from operations. Like that's the next step.
Yes.
Let's not let's not think of everything.
Yeah.
Next step is detangling yourself from operations. And it will start from Wednesday with what you discuss with our website designer. So we know how that one goes.
Okay.
All the points that you listed during this meeting, I think you shared the recordings with us. I'll go through them and I'll just itemize the next steps for you to take so that you'll be detangled from the business. I can have a getaway in leads. I don't know how I'm saying leads. But yeah, like that's the next step. Just finding ways for you to detangle yourself from the business.
Alright. Sounds good to me. Cause I mean, I think about it. For example, like with I think Salem once talked about something like this as well, where he really just wanted to create content, but like he eventually, I think he had to get a manager or something like, and then his friend signed a contract with him, something like that. So just the idea of just being able to know that I'll just do this and you'll be fine. Right. So yeah. Okay. No worries. Thank you so much, Paul. It means a lot. I will upload this video. I hope every audio is collecting as it needs to collect so that it's clear for you to hear when you listen again. Um
Yeah.
yeah. All right then. Thank you so much. See you in what, 8 minutes?
Yeah, it's minutes.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
All
Take
right.
care. Bye.
Bye.